Installing Nuheat with tile is easy, once you know the basic steps and follow a few simple guidelines. A successful Nuheat application requires the following tools: digital multimeter, 1/4 inch square notch trowel, margin trowel, grouting float, small plastic bristled brush, duct tape, sponge, and of course a bucket of water. For mortar, we recommend thin-set mortar mixed with undiluted acrylic additive. Your preferred manufacturer of thin-set and adhesives will be able to recommend which of their brands work best with radiant heating systems. All first-time installers must call Nuheat first before proceeding with the installation. We'll discuss your project with you and give you some valuable installation tips. Failure to do so will void the 25-year warranty. Now let's begin our installation. Open the Nuheat boxes and perform the first of 3 resistance and insulation tests to ensure the mats are working properly. This simple step, often overlooked, can save a tremendous amount of time and expense later. These tests must be performed by either the tile installer or the electrician. Make sure the test results are documented on both the installation instructions and the warranty card prior to mailing it in. Failure to take these tests and document the results will void the 25-year warranty. To conduct the resistance test, the meter should be set to its lowest setting. Connect the white and black leads to the meter's probes. The reading should be within plus 10% or minus 5% of the reading our factory has set on the tag attached to the mat. If your readings don't fall within this range, please contact Nuheat at 1-800-778-9276. Using the same setting on the meter, connect the silver braid wire to one of the multimeter probes and connect either the white or black wire to the other probe. A correct reading occurs when OL or open appears on the meter. Check the manual of your meter, as some meters use a special code to display this reading. Be sure to test both the white and black wires to the braid wire. Make sure the subfloor is clean and free of all debris, i.e. protruding nails, staples, and other sharp objects. Dry fitting is simply placing the mats on the predetermined areas of the floor. You'll want to check to make sure everything fits correctly, as during construction or remodeling, walls and fixtures can change. You should also map out the lead paths and confirm that they all reach the designated junction boxes and/or controls. Lead wires must run along the outside edges of the mats, not over top. This is also a great time to ease the folds out of the mat. When using a combination of made-to-fit and standard mats, there may be times when mats will overlap. There are 2 ways of handling this: trimming and overlapping. Nuheat mats are designed to allow careful trimming of fabric edges of the 3 non-connection sides. Remember, do not cut any of the wires or you will damage the mat. Another option is to lay the outer fabric edge of one mat over the other. When overlapping the outer fabric edges, make sure that the wires between the 2 mats do not cross. The outermost wires of the 2 mats need to be spaced apart from each other the same distance, typically 1.5 inches, as the wires inside the mats. It's okay for the outer fabric edges of the mats to be touching. To ensure a good bond to the subfloor, apply a layer of thin set between the overlapping fabric edges of the mats as shown here. Preparing the subfloor will be a little different on every job, but we recommend you prepare the subfloor as you would for any tile installation, remembering that we want a quality installation without any air bubbles. If you plan to tile over an existing vinyl floor, there are a number of methods. Some tile experts recommend that you screw an expanded metal lathe with a weight of 175 pounds over the vinyl floor before laying your thin set. Contact your distributor or manufacturer to see how they recommend you install their tile and adhesive products over vinyl. One of the great design features Nuheat offers is that there is no up or down side to the mats. You may flip or turn them in any direction to get the lead wires as close as possible to the junction box. To install the mat, we recommend you use a 1/4 inch square notch trowel and apply the thin set mortar to a manageable segment of your subfloor. The thin set consistency should be thinner than normal for this first layer to allow a quick bond to the Nuheat mat. Then carefully place or roll out the mat over the floor area. Now, using a grouting float, smooth out any bubbles or folds in the mat. When you have completed your first manageable section of the mat, move to the next segment and continue thin setting the mat to the subfloor. There are two possible installation methods for laying tile over Nuheat. The one-step method is to simply thin set your tile directly over Nuheat as soon as you have bonded the mat to the subfloor. This method works great for smaller jobs. The two-step method requires more time but makes the tile laying easy. We recommend this method for bigger jobs especially. For the two-step method, apply a skim coat over top of the Nuheat mat when you are satisfied that the mat is bonded to the floor. If you're using a floor-sensing thermostat with built-in timer, you will need to lay the sensor probe before applying your skim coat. We'll explain the probe installation in more detail in just a few moments. The skim coat should be applied using the flat side of a trowel and spread evenly over the mat. Remember to trowel as lightly as possible and in the same direction as the wires to avoid damage to the mat. The skim coat will help protect the Nuheat mat and provide you with a hard, even surface to tile over the next day. After you've completed the skim coat, we recommend you leave the mat to set overnight. Before leaving the mat to set, advise the homeowner, general contractor, and other trades not to walk or drag anything over the mats. Posting a warning sign is a great idea, as this stage of the installation poses the most risk for the Nuheat mats to be inadvertently damaged. And remember, if this is a large multi-day installation, you must conduct resistance and insulation tests at the beginning of each day and note it on both the installation instructions and warranty card. This will confirm that the mats have not been damaged during your absence and prevent you from laying tile over a damaged system. Failure to do both tests at this time will void the 25-year warranty. After performing the second test on your Nuheat mats, you're almost ready to begin laying the tile. Take a moment to run the lead wires along the outside edges of the mat. Never run these wires across the heating wires. It is recommended that you tape these leads down with thin strips of duct tape to ensure an easy thin set application over the lead paths. Many Nuheat installations incorporate the new floor-sensing thermostat with built-in timer. This allows your customer to set the temperature of the floor to their comfort level at the specific time of day they want their floor warming system turned on. The temperature probe must be placed in an area that is representative of the heat of the entire room. Run the probe parallel to the heating wires and secure it with thin strips of duct tape. The probe should be set into the mat at least 12 inches away from any alternative heat source, vents, south-facing windows, etc. Center the tip directly between the resistant wires. Do not cross any of the heating wires with the probe to ensure proper operation. You may tile or lay your skim coat directly over the probe. Now you can lay tile over your Nuheat installation. Tile as you would normally, but keep the following guidelines and tips in mind. Apply a coat of thin set with undiluted acrylic additive using your 1/4 inch square notch trowel. You will want an even bed over top of the Nuheat mat. It is very important to lightly trowel this top coat to ensure you don't damage the Nuheat mat. Some tile experts recommend applying a skim coat to the underside of each tile before placing it. This coat is not as heavy as back buttering, but helps make a good bond between the tile and the Nuheat mat. There's only one way to clean the grout lines of a Nuheat installation. Use a sponge or plastic bristled brush to clean the grout lines during the tile installation while the thin set is still wet and soft. Using utility knives, margin trowels, or other sharp tools can damage the Nuheat mat easily and cause a costly repair. Any damage caused during the installation will not be covered under the Nuheat warranty. Once your tile and grout installation is complete, perform and record the final ohms tests. Be sure to advise the general contractor, electrician, and/or homeowner not to turn on the Nuheat until the thin set is cured, according to the length of time indicated on the packaging. Failure to comply with the appropriate curing time could compromise your total tile installation.